Do you want to sound natural when speaking English? Well, don't say these phrases. Some of these phrases may surprise you, as they are often taught in English textbooks, but I'm going to say it. In real life, we often don't talk like in textbooks. We are going for natural English today, the way we really speak. Before we get started, one thing I think you're really going to like is I've created a fabulous PDF to go with this video. Of course, you get the phrases that we never use, but what's really valuable in this PDF is a bonus lesson. 15 phrases that native speakers use daily. Most English learners have never been taught these, and I guarantee that some of these phrases will shock you. You have probably heard them hundreds of times without even realizing what was being said. And once you know them, you will start hearing them everywhere. And more importantly, you will sound more fluent and natural than ever. So don't miss it. So if you want this handy guide to remember essential British phrases and also what not to say, download that for free. Just click on the link in the description box or scan the QR code there. Join my mailing list and I'll send you the PDF directly to your inbox. Okay, our first phrase might surprise you. It is, my name is. So this is often the first phrase they teach you when you learn English at school, but native speakers almost never use it to introduce themselves. It is much more common to simply say, I'm Lucy. And we pretty much never say, I'm called Lucy. Just sounds a bit weird to me. Now, an extra tip, when we're talking on the phone, we don't use I'm Lucy in the same way. Instead, we'd say, it's Lucy. How funny is that? I'm Lucy in person. Hey, it's Lucy on the phone. Our second phrase is, I would like a coffee. Now, remember, I'm not saying that this is incorrect. You will be understood. But this phrase is often taught as a polite way to ask for something. It's not wrong, but it can sound slightly too formal, especially if you use the long form I would like instead of I'd like. If you want to sound more natural when you order coffee in a coffee shop, you can say, can I have a coffee, please? Or I'll have a coffee, please. Or the number and then the coffee. 1 flat white, please. 2 cappuccinos, please. Again, I would like a flat white. I would like a cappuccino is not wrong. There's a more natural way to say it. Next, we have I must go now. So textbooks always teach this one, but it sounds quite serious in real life. We'd usually just say, sorry, I have to go. Or, sorry, I've got to go, or the shortest form, gotta go. Sorry, gotta go. Another very British alternative is, right, I'm off, while slapping our thighs and standing up. Now, in general, we actually use have to and have got to more than must. For number 4, can I go to the bathroom, please? Now, unless you're a child at school, you don't need to ask for permission. If you're in someone's house, you can just say, do you mind if I use the toilet? Toilet is more common in British English. Bathroom is more common in American English. If you want to sound super British, the loo. I'll just pop to the loo. Number 5 is in my country. Now you might be thinking, what is wrong with that? Nothing is technically wrong. We just don't say it that often. We pretty much always say the name of our country. Like, in the UK, we eat dinner earlier. Sometimes we'd also say, where I'm from, we eat dinner earlier. Or, most shops are closed on Sunday in Spain. Next, we have a phrase that all students use, in my opinion. Students are often taught to use this for official language exams, and it's a really good phrase for that. However, in real life, we would usually say, I think, or, very British, I reckon. I use this all the time as a more informal alternative to think. Number 7, imagine you walk into a restaurant and ask for a table. You say, We are 4 people. Then you hear the person behind you say, a table for 4, please. In English, we don't tend to use we are to say how many people there are. In a restaurant, a table for 4. You can also say, there are 4 of us, to give a number in general. Next, we have I enjoy a lot. This one is actually incorrect. Enjoy takes an object, so we can't say enjoy a lot. We need to say, I enjoy it a lot. I like a lot is also incorrect. We need an object like it. I like it a lot. Now, this next one is an example of what can happen when students overuse idioms. We have kick the bucket, and this is a really informal term for when someone dies. And we only use it in very specific situations because it can be considered disrespectful. You would only use kick the bucket if you're trying to be funny. In general, we would usually say that someone has passed away. Sometimes we just say passed or simply died. Number 10 is a term of endearment. It's dear. Now, of course, we still use this in letters and emails, for example, Dear Alice, but nowadays we don't really call people dear when talking to them. I've heard many students use this, and it can sound either too forward or a little bit outdated. We do use terms of endearment like mate, pal, or love with close friends. Sometimes dear, if said with the wrong tone of voice, can sound a little bit sarcastic. Yes, dear can sound a little bit demeaning, patronizing. Yeah, dear can sound a bit patronizing. I receive messages all the time calling me dear, and obviously I don't take it that way, but it's just one to bear in mind. I'm referring to British English here. It could be very common in other areas. Number 11 is I'm concentrated on my studies. Now, when we use the adjective concentrated, we're often talking about orange juice. Concentrated orange juice. We would usually choose a different adjective here. Focused. And notice that this has 2 syllables, not 3. Focused. I'm focused on my studies. He's focused on his work right now. However, you can use to concentrate as a verb, as in quiet, he's trying to concentrate. Or shh, I'm concentrating. I've put a bit more information about this in the PDF that goes with this video. The link is in the description. Next, we have you're welcome. If we say this when someone says thank you, it can sound quite formal, depending on the context. Instead, we usually say, no problem, or of course. Thanks for printing off that document, of course. Okay, we're getting a bit sporty now for number 13. Don't say going to swim or going to cycle. Try using the ing form to refer to activities in general. I'm going swimming tomorrow. I'm going cycling tomorrow. We might use to swim or to cycle if we're doing something specific. For example, he's going to swim 10 kilometers for charity tomorrow. Or they're going to cycle to the pub instead of walking. Continuing with the sporty theme, next we have to practice a sport. I often hear this from students who transfer it from their mother tongue, but it just doesn't sound natural in English. We use the word do when talking about a sport in general, or play a sport or sports. I'm going to do some sport at the weekend. I don't play any team sports. Now, after doing sport, my English friends wouldn't ask, do you want to drink a coffee? To make invitations like this, we usually say, do you want to have a coffee? Get a coffee, or informally, grab a coffee. I also hear some students ask, do you want to take a coffee? And again, this is not something we would say. That's normally a translation of how students would say it in their mother tongue. However, we can use take when asking if someone accepts something with their food or drink. Do you take sugar in your coffee? 16, finally, we have goodbye. Again, this is one of the first words you learn in English, but we don't tend to use it as often as you'd think. We're more likely to say bye, see you later, see ya, see you. We often say bye-bye to children. I like it though when adults say it to each other. It sounds really innocent. Bye-bye. Okay, before we say bye-bye, let's do a short quiz to see how much you remember. How can we say these phrases more naturally? 1. I need to practice some sport next weekend. 2. I feel very concentrated on my running right now. 3. I enjoy a lot. 4. I'm called Lucy. And 5. We are 2 people. Pause now if you need more time. Are you ready for the answers? 1. I need to do some sport next weekend, not practice. 2. I feel focused. Remember, we don't use concentrated as an adjective like this. 3. I enjoy it a lot. Enjoy needs an object. 4. Use I'm Lucy or your own name to introduce yourself in person. Over the phone, it's Lucy. And number 5, if in a restaurant, 2 please, a table for 2, or in general, there are 2 of us. How did you do? Let me know your score in the comments and tell me what surprised you the most in this lesson. Remember, you can download the PDF that goes with this video. We also have a bonus lesson with 15 phrases that native speakers use all the time. They will surprise you. To download that, click on the link in the description box or scan that QR code there. I will see you in the next lesson. Mwah!